Hello everyone, Mehdi Photocure for mine. So today we are going to discuss something very profound and maybe a bit shocking for some of you. So you will be a millionaire, most likely, and it's not going to matter. So why is that? Especially if you're living in the US or if you live in Japan. So given the current inflation trends, so most likely at some age you will become a millionaire. So that does not rely only on inflation, so that's one part of the problem, but the trend is going to be that more and more people are going to become millionaires. So the first reason, as I mentioned, is inflation. So yes, so why inflation is going to continue going forward? Just because a lot of countries, and especially like countries like Japan, they are already heavily drowning into debt. And so what we are seeing today is that because there is so much debt and because the central banks, they still have to continue to print more and more money for the economy to keep going, and that these governments, they cannot get out of debt because they still need to actually support the economy and the growth going forward. So they are going to continue to print money and we're going to continue to see inflation. So that's really mechanical in a sense, but this is going to happen. And with inflation, so the prices are going to actually go up, but a lot of assets are also going to go up. So most likely you will become a millionaire, but the fact that you're going to become a millionaire like a lot of other people, it's not going to matter. I'm sorry to say that a bit blankly, but today's figures and tomorrow's figures are not as, I would say, valuable as what we have been able to see in the past. So I think the $1 million mark is actually good to actually self-gauge against, I would say, a historical trend. But what matters really is how you actually compare to your peers in the same regional groups. And so what we're going to see is that a lot of people are going to become millionaires, and this is going to devalue the fact that $1 million is not going to actually buy you much. And we can already see that because like a lot of housing, a lot of real estate today is actually worth much more than $1 million. And so that shows you that this trend is going to continue and that this number is not going to be valuable anymore. The second important thing why it's going to continue, and I think that this is not very discussed a lot, is the fact that governments, they cannot sustain social security. So what's going to happen? Most likely what's going to happen is what is happening today in the US, is that all the governments are going to rely more and more on private pensions. And private pensions means 401ks and basically individual investments. And so what it means for countries like Europe, or countries like France or Germany in Europe, or countries like Japan, is that people, they will have to invest more and more to actually sustain their own pension and their own retirement. And so what it means concretely, it means that people, because their pension is going to be reliant on their own assets, they're going to become richer in a sense because they will need to have more assets to generate retirement income. But the reality is that these assets, previously, they were held by the government. It's just that now you just own it yourself. And that there will be this kind of wealth effect in a sense where a lot more people are going to become millionaires or feel a little bit richer. But the reality is that it is just a transfer of wealth from governments to individuals. So some part of the population is going to benefit tremendously from that, and the other part is going to actually suffer a lot. And so that just to actually conclude on this part, this is, I think, a very quick video, but a very important topic to cover. The fact that going forward, a lot of people are going to feel richer and richer, and we will see a lot more millionaires. So there is nothing, I would say, surprising about this. This is a trend which is going to continue, mainly because of these two factors, so inflation and the reduction of social security. So if you want to see all the analysis and all the news about the Asian or the US market, so feel free to check my other videos and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in another one. Bye.